Often the assumption is that we have to be balanced. We have to have everything right, everything in the same order, in the same place around the quadrants. In other words, be just as capable in quadrant 1 as we are in quadrant 2 and 3 and 4. And to that I would say, yeah, there's value in that. There's value in having the ability to go into quadrant 1, 2, 3 and 4 with full gusto, and having an ability to do 15 in each of those quadrants would be a very useful thing. And the paradox of that is, on the downside of it, it's also a trap. And so what we find is that people who do have all quadrants firing equal do have a difficult time deciding and making their mind up about things, and that leads to procrastination. So what we'd suggest is that it's more appropriate to honour your quadrants as they are. Honour the package that you have right now. It's not about changing anything. And at the same time, if you're wanting to perform a certain task and that task is best suited to a certain quadrant preference and there's no one around who can do it for you, then you need to learn to be more powerful within that particular quadrant. So for example, playing golf, there is a great value in seeing the big picture and the expanse of where you're going with your objective of hitting a golf ball. But then you've got to have quadrant 2 part, that's quadrant 1. The quadrant 2 part is where you go into the details of club selection and all the information that goes with getting that instrument to hit the ball. And you've got to be good at that. You've got to be good at the selection and the course management. And then you go into the quadrant 3 part, and that's going to have all of your physical behaviors, your breathing, your center of gravity, your center of weight, and the flow, and the timing, and all that sort of stuff. That's really, really critical. And then the willingness to pull the trigger, which is the quadrant 4 part, where the willingness to just trust everything and just let it go and hammer that ball, and know that it's going in a way in which you wanted it to go in the first place. So each one of those are very, very important. And if one's missing and say for example in the game of golf, then there's going to be deficit in your ability to play that game. And that could go for baking a cake, or driving a car, or making a bed. I mean, any single activity that we do as a human being requires the function of those 4 quadrants. And if we're missing out on attention to a quadrant, we're going to have some degree of deficit in our ability to behave at a certain level in a certain task. So just notice that, and we can talk more about that later anyway. My name is Mark Postles, and thanks for joining us.